The story begins with a married couple who had been trying to have a baby for a long time. Finally, a baby boy named Kusuo was born into their home. But this wasn't just any ordinary baby. Kusuo was born with some special powers. Because of these powers, he learned to talk in just 10 days. Seeing his abilities, his parents got quite worried. But despite all this, instead of sending Kusuo to a lab, they decided to raise him themselves. As a result, his childhood was pretty comfortable. But as Kusuo grew up, his powers became more of a curse for him, because he couldn't use these powers to win money in a casino, nor could he use them to win any girl's heart. On top of that, Kusuo was always afraid that someone might get suspicious of him, and because of this, he could never use his powers for his own benefit. Also, his powers were so strong that he had to wear 2 antennas on his head to keep them under control, because if he didn't, he might have accidentally destroyed the entire city. And to make sure no one's attention went to his antennas, he would use his powers to hypnotize everyone so that no one would even ask about them. Then one day at his school, the teacher announced that the PK High School Festival would be held next month. All the students were instructed to behave themselves during the festival and were warned that if they didn't, all events would be cancelled from the next year. Although Kusuo wasn't particularly interested in this event, during the festival, he could always get away from the crowd and spend some time by himself, and he didn't want to ruin this time for himself under any circumstances. So, he decided that he would keep an eye on all the students during the event to make sure nothing went wrong. As soon as the teacher left the class, a student named Haro came forward and appointed himself as the class monitor. He then announced that their class would hold an origami exhibition for the event. But many students in the class didn't agree with his idea because they wanted to showcase something else at the event. After the class ended, a boy named Nindo came from behind and covered Kusuo's eyes, which really surprised Kusuo. Actually, because of Kusuo's powers, he could detect any person from 200 meters away. But Nindo was a strange-looking guy whose mind was always empty, and because of this, he could easily get close to Kusuo time and again. And now he wanted to go with Kusuo to find stones for the school's exhibition, which Kusuo had no interest in. But before he could say no to Nindo, another strange boy named Shun arrived.
ちょっと見てほしいものがある。なんだ?
Shun believed that a secret society called Dark Reunion wanted to destroy the whole world. And to make sure no one could listen in on their conversation, he took Nindo and Kusuo to the school's roof. There, he revealed that he had received a letter from the organization, which mentioned an attack on the school during the event. And now he wanted Kusuo to help him save the school, to which Kusuo agreed. But deep down, he knew very well that nothing of the sort was going to happen. A week before the event, Kusuo was sitting alone in class when he heard the voices of some girls. At that moment, they were trying to convince a popular girl named Kokomi to participate in the Miss PK contest, through which the most beautiful girl in the school was chosen. But Kokomi, who considered herself the most beautiful, was acting as if, "Oh, I'm not worthy of this. I'm not that beautiful. Leave it." She kept suggesting her other friends participate instead. But when Kusuo read her mind, he immediately understood that Kokomi was only doing all this because she knew she could easily win the contest. After reading her mind, Kusuo said that he had no interest in Kokomi. But on the other hand, Kokomi was chasing after him because a few days ago just wanted to know who this guy was who didn't even look back at her. Actually, one day she had said hello to Kusuo, but without paying much attention to her, Kusuo just gave a small hello back and walked away. And when she said hello to Kusuo the next time, he completely ignored her. After this, Kokomi couldn't believe her eyes. And that's why she went to meet Kusuo for the 3rd time. This time, she decided to touch his hand while saying hello. But just as she moved forward to touch him, Kusuo immediately stepped aside and disappeared from there. When Kokomi couldn't find him anywhere, she started to think that maybe it was all an illusion. And soon, she started thinking about Kusuo a little too much and fell in love with him. After that day, she was trying every possible way to get close to Kusuo, but every attempt of hers was failing. On the morning of the festival, as Kusuo was eating with his parents, a glass broke from his hand, which according to his mother was a bad omen. But Kusuo didn't believe in these things and quietly left for his school, where, before the event started, the entire class was looking at all the stones that the students had collected. But among all of them, the most different stone belonged to Arin, which had red color on it. And then Kusuo remembered that Arin was a former criminal who had been sent to the school to reform himself. And it was possible that the red color on his stone wasn't ordinary paint, but real blood. After this, Kusuo went to the school corridor, where Kokomi was continuously following him. And now her plan was to somehow spend a few moments alone with Kusuo so that she could get scared and cling to him. But she was unaware of the fact that Kusuo already knew all the plans going on in her mind. Just then, Kokomi's huge fan club also arrived there, and her fans started requesting her to participate in the PK beauty contest. And taking advantage of this chaos, Kusuo quietly slipped away from there. After this, he teleported himself to a magic show where a student, along with his mother, was about to perform a magic trick. Hearing this, Kusuo felt that something might go wrong, and so he decided to use his powers. Before the magic started, the student explained that he would chain himself up and lock himself in that wooden box. After that, he had to disappear from there in 3 minutes, because exactly 3 minutes later, his mother would start inserting blades into the box. Kusuo was worried that something wrong might happen, and so he himself teleported into the box. But by then, that student had already disappeared from there. But now, Kusuo couldn't teleport himself back for 10 minutes, which meant he had to survive all the attacks that were about to happen for the next 10 minutes. Anyway, 3 minutes later, the student's mother started inserting blades into the box, to avoid which Kusuo had to take on different forms. But his troubles weren't going to end here, because then that woman announced that they would drop the box from a height and destroy it. But just as the box was about to hit the ground, at the last moment, Kusuo jumped and saved himself. But that woman was still not going to stop and announced that they would set the box on fire. To escape this, Kusuo froze the box from the inside. But with every passing task, the danger to his life was increasing. And now that woman said that she would crush the box with a bulldozer. But just as the bulldozer was about to run over the box, Kusuo realized that 10 minutes were over, and he immediately teleported himself out of the box. At the same time, the magician also reappeared on the stage, which drew everyone's attention. Meanwhile, Kokomi also listened to her fans and decided to participate in the PK beauty contest, but not as a contestant, but as a judge. Because of this, many boys were angry, one of whom was Shun. And that's why he left the crowd and went to the school's backyard, where he met a man from the Dark Reunion, who took him to the organization's meeting room. There, he met the group's leader, Moonlight Butterfly, who told Shun that he was also a former member of their organization. After hearing his words, Shun revealed that he was actually the most dangerous and capable warrior of the Dark Reunion. But when he found out about the organization's real motive, he was forced to steal the Stone of Direction and run away. After this, using a secret magic spell, the leader entered Shun's body so that no one could recognize him. After hearing his whole story, the leader asked him to become a part of Dark Reunion again, to which Shun flatly refused. After this, the leader told him that there were actually 7 sphere balls inside the school, with the help of which the entire Dark Reunion could be destroyed. And today they had come specifically to destroy these balls. Hearing this, Shun decided to find and destroy all those balls before them, so that Dark Reunion couldn't harm anyone else. Meanwhile, Hiro was calling as many people as possible for the marathon. Just then, Nindo also arrived to take part in the marathon, because whoever won this race would get a chance to watch Kokomi for 10 minutes. To ensure no one got hurt in the race, Kusuo was constantly keeping an eye on everyone. But a little later, to win against Nindo, Hiro started breaking all the traffic signals, because of which Kusuo was forced to change all the traffic lights and cars according to his will. But despite all this, Nindo was easily competing with Hiro, and he was casually eating and drinking while running. On the other hand, poor Hiro's life was slowly fading away, and now he decided to play one last trick. As he neared the finish line, he distracted Nindo by saying, "Hey, look, it's Kokomi." This distracted poor Nindo, and Hiro won the race. But Nindo was not happy with this at all, and in front of everyone, he used an old jutsu trick on Hiro, which made everyone laugh a lot. Meanwhile, at school, Arin found a letter from his old gang in his locker, in which they had called him to meet behind the school. But by now, Arin had changed a lot, and he quietly walked past his companions. They didn't even recognize him, but just then, Shun passed in front of them carrying 2 balls, and then they asked Shun if he knew a guy named Arin, to which Shun laughingly pointed directly at Arin. After this, a fight broke out between the gangsters and Arin. Meanwhile, at school, Kusuo was still worried about the event. But despite this, he was forced to hang out with Kokomi, who now wanted to go to the haunted house with him. But just then, Nindo also said he wanted to go with them, which spoiled Kokomi's clingy plan a bit. In the haunted house, Kokomi was very scared, but it didn't bother Kusuo at all, because he could easily see all the kids. Just then, a kid tried to scare them, but he fainted after seeing Nindo's butt-chin. After this, the three of them put the kids' makeup on themselves. After leaving the haunted house, Nindo and Kusuo went to the bathroom to wash their faces, where Nindo stole Kusuo's glasses. Because of this, one of Kusuo's powers got activated, which caused anyone he looked at to turn to stone. And the very first person to be affected by this was Nindo. And Kusuo knew that now, for the next 24 hours, Nindo would remain like this. And so, he placed Nindo in his class's rock exhibition, where everyone was very impressed to see such a realistic statue. After this, Kusuo went looking for new glasses for himself. But in all this, he had turned several other kids into stone as well. And when he couldn't find any other way, he quietly went into the gym's storeroom, where Kokomi was already present. Meanwhile, Kusuo couldn't understand anything, and so he immediately told Kokomi to go outside. Just then, he realized that Arin was still fighting outside, and he immediately opened the window and asked Arin for his glasses. After which, he fixed all the gangsters and made them go away so that the teachers wouldn't find out about this. After all this, Kusuo was thinking that maybe all his troubles were over now. But just then, once again, Kokomi came in front of him. And now she wanted to play a couples game with Kusuo, for which Kusuo was not at all ready. But just then, Kokomi's fanboys came and started threatening Kusuo. "Why are you hanging around our sister so much? Huh? Don't spend too much time with her. You understand? Or we'll finish your game." Seeing all this, Kokomi tried to quiet the boys down, but they all started chasing Kusuo and Kokomi. To escape them, they went back into the gym storeroom. And as soon as they went inside, the fanboys locked the room from the outside. After getting inside the room, when Kusuo read Kokomi's mind, he found out that all of this was her plan, so that they could spend some time together. On top of that, it was Kokomi who had arranged the marathon and Arin's fight so that Kusuo would be busy all the time and couldn't go to his friends. As all this was being revealed, Kusuo was just looking for a way out of that room. Meanwhile, Shun, after collecting 7 balls, arrived at the Dark Reunions meeting hall, which was actually just a few Kokomi fanboys. But despite all this, Shun placed the 7 balls in one place and then recited a spell. After this, he felt as if he had destroyed the Dark Reunion organization and saved the whole world. Meanwhile, the whole gang arrived to take revenge on Arin. But after giving his glasses to Kusuo, Arin couldn't see anything properly. But just as they were about to attack Arin, Kusuo made them all disappear by sending them back in time. But after using his powers so much, Kusuo's body had no energy left and he fainted right there. As a result, his powers also weakened, and now Kokomi could see the antennas on his head, and she unknowingly pulled out one antenna. After this, Kusuo's power was now coming straight out. Because of this, all the sensors in the world stopped working. Just then, Kusuo regained consciousness, and when he put his hand on a vaulting box, it immediately broke. Seeing this, Kokomi got very scared and dropped the antenna. And here, as soon as Kusuo realized this, he immediately asked Kokomi for his antenna back. No! No! But at that very moment, all the walls of the room started to freeze. Seeing this, Kusuo realized that they were no longer on Earth. So now, he started waiting for Kokomi to faint. Immediately after that, he used his power to find the antenna again and brought the building back to Earth. But now he couldn't understand how he would explain these things to the whole world, who he would answer to, and what he would say. That's why he decided to use his power to go back a whole day in time, so that this time he could make every decision correctly.
가성!